Hey there, welcome back. Hope you're doing well. Me, yeah, I'm fine. Thanks for asking. I reorganised my bookshelf by how likely the characters are to survive a goose attack. You'll be very surprised. We begin the episode on the night of the show. We have locker room incidents to deal with. So, are they going to be good? Let's have a look. We have got some person without a face. Jay Marsden has turned up, requested to be allowed to hang out backstage. He is unemployed, who happens to live nearby. Who are you? What are you doing? And I mean, he doesn't seem too bad, does he? Sure. Yeah, come on in. Yes, I was going to show you that afterwards, but we've got a couple of new signings. One of them being Cappuccino Jones. So he is apparently already being influenced by Calvin Tankman. Calvin is irrepressible, which is nice, and Cappuccino is professional, which is also nice. Friends, lovely. We've got some pre-show training drills, 12 students currently, lovely stuff. And Amina Belmont went and set up a barbecue in April. Sure, why not? Wow, okay. Billy Starks and Tommy Billington have begun dating. Okay. And literally, you've only turned up. I don't know how you can say a lot. Jay Marsden and Annika Murphy have apparently been hanging out together a lot recently. Maybe that's why Jay's turned up today. Right. According to others backstage, Mayung Jae Lee, who is back from his injury, and Rain Victoria are now travel buddies. And that's it. Cool. Lovely stuff. Let's move on to booking the show. So, this is our card for the anniversary event. It is hopefully as stacked as I can possibly make it to try and include all of our best wrestlers. Now, there is a number that are kind of just sitting there not being used. However, yeah, I'm full up on time. Literally, we're using them for 75 minutes of a 1 hour show. So, bonus even though they're not technically paying to get in. But anyway, right, we start off with the opener. We're going to have Heather Reckless versus Rain Victoria. They were involved recently in that four-way. But this is where we're going to try them out on their own and see how they get on. It is an opener. I'm not expecting too much from them. We then move on to a tag match. Now, Anakin Murphy and Dean Alexander haven't been used recently, so it's just to try to get a few more reps for them, see how they get on. But there I can have Isaiah Bronson and Calvin Tankman, who have been doing fairly wellish recently. So, we're going to see how they get on. Afterwards, we have the consistently okay performer, Hide and Seek, myself, versus new sign-in and who looks like he should be pretty good, Cappuccino Jones. We then follow that up with Clark Connors versus Cody Lane. Cody Lane usually puts on a fairly good performance. Turbo Floyd, who is on quite a run of good form at the moment. His in-ring performances are getting better and better. He faces off against a debuting Yu Awada. And then we have our main event, which is Adrian Quest, Fred Yeehee, and Solomon Tupu in a triple threat for the GRW Championship. So we're going to click this nice little yellow button here. I mean, it is only just moaning because we have no announcers. Even though they're not necessary, it even tells me that. I'm going to press this button and let's go see how we get on. So, that is... Oh, that's a pain. I forgot to change the road agent thing. We're going to get hit a fair bit for this. 122 people. That's fine. That's gone up. In a decent match, Reckless defeats Victoria in 9 minutes and 44 seconds by submission. The match was designed to work the crowd. So, Reckless gets a 39, Victoria gets a 22, the show itself gets off to a strong start, and we get a 31. We move on. In a bout that has good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd, Tankman and Alexander defeat Murphy and Bronson in 7 minutes and 29 seconds when Tankman pins Bronson. In terms of in-ring work, Tankman was head and shoulders above everyone else, and Dean Alexander was the weak link. Does that show in the stats? It kind of does, yeah. Tankman gets a 48, Murphy gets a 35, Bronson gets a 31, and Alexander gets a 21. Both Alexander and Murphy were off their games. That's, it's a 39 overall, and the crowd got hotter. It's fine. That's much better though. Look at that. In a bout that has superb wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd, Hide and Seek defeats Cappuccino Jones in 9 minutes 52 seconds by a pinfall. Hide and Seek gets a 53, Cappuccino gets a 56, so he's actually the better of the two. He debuts his cold brew gimmick, which has got off to a poor start, which makes a little bit of sense, doesn't it? If your entire gimmick is around coffee, yeah, that's going to be a struggle. Gets a 57 overall. I can't complain. We then move on to a bout with superb wrestling with a decent reaction from the crowd. Cody Lane defeats Clark Connors in 9 minutes 45 by submission. Connors gets a 49. Cody Lane gets a 41. Okay, I thought Cody Lane was the more consistent performer out of the two. It gets a 49 though. 49, pretty good. We then move on to a decent match where Turbo Floyd defeats Yu Owada in 11 minutes and 40 seconds by submission. Interestingly, I thought this would do slightly better. Turbo Lloyd has been getting 30-somethings recently for his performances. However, today he gets a 29. Owada gets a 28. He was off his game, and Scott D'Amore, who I need to get off road agent duties, could have done better. We then move on to our main event in a bout that has superb wrestling, decent reaction from the crowd. Quest defeats Yeehee and Tupu in 13 minutes 53 seconds when Quest defeats, or pins I should say, Tupu. Adrian Quest wins the Glory Road Championship. In terms of in-ring work, Fred was head and shoulders above everyone else. Tupu was the weak link, struggling to keep up with everybody else. Fred got a 62 for that one. Quest got a 52, which is still pretty good, and Tupu gets a 37. That gets a 57 rating overall. And we get a 55 for that one. That's pretty good. And I'm pondering, we'll skip over that one. We will have a quick look at that. Yeah. This should hopefully put us up a rating. Absolutely does. Puts us to 9. Lovely stuff. We arrive at the office after the show. Let's go and have a look and see how we got on. It was apparently a great show. That's lovely. However, I'm wondering if it is the best show we put on, because annoyingly I cannot remember. It was. There we go. It rated 55 overall. So it is our best show by a couple of points. I don't think, I've got to get to the end of the month before we do the roll for the 1 year, but I don't think our character got a 50 rating in his match. Where is he? He is right here. So I don't think he gets a roll for that anyway. We go and have a look at this one. Oh no, we got a 53. We might have some double rolls coming up. Let's get to the end of the month. Let's see how our finances worked after that show. And then we might be doing some improvements. We are back. It is the 1st of May, and that means that we are officially, I say we, Glory Road Wrestling is officially 1 year old today. We had cake. It was lovely. There was a party. Somebody got drunk and they made a fool of themselves. However, we are going to have a look at the finances for May. First of all, that's looking pretty good. 617 in the positive, sure. And sponsorship value has gone up a little bit higher. So it was 1759. We're expecting, even though we've just ticked over, expecting 1722 next month. Okay, I don't know what to do with that information. And annoyingly, we're starting to be taxed. I mean, yeah, okay, $28, $33. However, I mean, we've lost like 17 grand almost in a year. I feel that we shouldn't probably be taxed. We've probably lost enough money here that the taxman doesn't need any of our almighty dollars. That's that. What we need to do next is we need to bring up our trusty spreadsheet. We need to look at some rolls. And here is our tracker then. So as you can already see, and if you watched the second episode, maybe the end of the first episode, you will see that we hit these two already, which is having an event card of 25. That's really not hard to do. And have an event card of 50, which is roughly where we're sitting at the moment. We have now also gone and hit the next 2 milestones. One is earn a match grade of 50 or more with your wrestler. And as you saw a few moments ago, we had a 53. and we've already just completed our first year with the company. So we're going to get a roll for this one and a roll for that one. So let's start with the match grade. Let's go to our randomizer. Let's hit the button. Let's see what we get. There we go. So you've been cast in a small TV show, Next Step Hollywood. 10 points to spend across charisma and acting, and add TV actor to the miscellaneous for your character. If we were previously a TV actor, it needs to be a movie star. So we are going to grab that. Let's go to our tracker. We are going to pop that in there, and we'll add that on in a moment. Then we're going to go to roll number 2 for completing our first year, and we get Run, Forest, Run. We outshine everyone athletically. We add stud athlete to our character, where we can add 10 to power, athleticism, and stamina. So that's 30 points we're adding on that one. That's great. I do very much appreciate that one. So that's 39 we're going to have there. All right, give me 1 second. I will go and add these rolls on. All right, having now reread that, it isn't 10 points across all 3. It was 10 points to be split across the 3. So basically what I did is I threw that all into stamina, because his stamina is absolute garbage at the moment. That has actually gone, and if we look at this screen right here, we can see how far he has improved just in 1 year. He's gained 73 attribute points. Yes, okay, we've had a few with the rolls. So for instance, consistency did go up as part of a roll. His stamina went up. His acting went up as part of the TV one that we just rolled a minute ago, because that again is garbage. But yeah, I mean, we're looking at about 40-point gain over the year, which is not too shabby. As we can see, if we look at his attribute screen, he has now picked up 4 traits. He can play realistic well. He is the stud athlete, so those hidden caps apparently are higher than normal. He is a tag team specialist, even though we don't have a tag team department. And he is that TV actor. I don't know how that's going to work. I think this is mostly going to be ignored, that first half. He's not going to take time away because he's me, but he might get some minor popularity boosts for potentially appearing on TV shows even when he isn't away. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, that's it. That is the first part of it done. What we are going to look at as well is our roster. And I'm thinking of making a few little cuts here and there. So what I will show you first of all actually is the deals that we have for our newer wrestlers. I've set them up on what I've referred to as a trial contract. So they only last 3 months. They are basically written with no ironclad clause, so either one of us can end it early if we really want to. But yeah, 30 days, usually on a set fee of whatever it is that they want, and a merchandise cut of 10%. We don't run that at the moment. Our merchandise section isn't big enough, but that is kind of our standard rookie entry-level contract type thing. So yeah, he is on it at the moment, and Yu Awada is also on those as well. Amina Belmont wasn't. We hadn't put that contract in place there. So what I'm thinking of doing, there are a few wrestlers I think I'm going to switch on to one of these contracts. Boucher is going to be one of them. So we're just going to go here. I'm going to switch to the trial contract. 3 months. I wonder if I can get any less than 40 for him. Should we say 35 a show? He wants 40. Sure, you can have 40. And we're just going to make that official. Who else did I want to put on one of these? I think Devon Monroe is going to go onto it because it would apparently break one of our goals. That is interesting. What is up with you? Have you got a reputation of less than 45? Which would be under... He'd be under this one. He does. Has that actually gone down, his reputation? Can I track that? Not on that one. Not in that one. Not in that one. Not in that one. What? Oh, wow. What happened in April? His reputation took a massive nosedive. Wow. Okay. Devon Monroe is... when his contract is up, his contract is up. He's not coming back. He's done something. I don't know what he's done because there's nothing in the news. But wow, he's going. Okay, that's fine. We don't need to worry about that one. And who was the other one? There was one more that I was thinking of putting onto it, which is Tommy Billington. Actually, he is again. He's not really setting anything alight in the company. He's only had one match with us. I thought that was two. We just said it via GRW. GRW, thank you. Come on, there it is. Yeah, literally, he's had one match. It was a 32. I'm struggling to see anything I could do with him. I mean, yeah, sure, he's dating, is it Billy Starks? It's in one of these somewhere, isn't it? It's under, I want to say morale details. It's not. Personal details. Yeah, there it is. So he's also, he's a distant relative of Davy Boy Smith. Okay. He has a positive opinion of Jerry Lynn for some reason. Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to try and move him down to a 3-month contract as well, because I can't see him being here for a year. So let's set it up on that one. Can I get you for any cheaper? Can you say yes? No. Okay, right, there you go. $50, 3 months. There we go. So he's going to move down to one of those, and that means that if he doesn't set the world on fire, if he doesn't impress me, then he can leave. I also want to try and see if I can get you to not be a road agent. Can I turn that one off? I cannot. Can you get in better shape? No. Oh well. Okay, that's it. That's, I think, most of the admin done for now. I will probably come back if there is more. If not, I'll see you guys at the next show. All right, so May is now booked. That's meant to be a pre-show. Just do that. There we go. That's much better. So we have a pre-show match. Mina Belmont, Billy Starks, Heather Reckless. We are just getting the 3 women that don't have a main card match, just to have a little bit of fun, get them out, get them improving, get some reps in. After that, we have the other 2 women. We have Amira, who is a new sign-in, versus Rain Victoria. We then have an angle. Fred Yeehee wants to come out and say something about last month. We'll see that one in a moment. We then have Cody Lane versus Turbo Floyd. Cappuccino Jones versus Myung Jae Lee. Redfield versus Boucher. And then our champ, Quest, versus Owada. Should we see how this gets on? Okay, in our opener then, we keep forgetting to take Scott Demore off-road agent duties. I've just seen that little red note there. In a decent pre-show match, Reckless defeats Belmont and Starks in 9 minutes 51 seconds when she pins Starks. Now, she carries the match in regards to the in-ring performance. We did get a creative finish in the pre-booking section, so we decided to use that and give Heather the win. Otherwise, I just would have let them wrestle it out themselves. That was a success. We get a 28 overall for the women. We then move on to the main show, and that's annoying. The bout apparently dragged in the middle. A bout with decent wrestling, not a lot of heat. Victoria defeats Amira in 11 minutes and 41 seconds. Designed to work the crowd, it has managed to do that. It's got a 21 overall. After that, Fred Yee hits the ring with something to say. Still fuming after losing his title in last month's Triple Threat, he reminds everyone that Adrian Quest may have walked out champion, but he never pinned Fred to do it. Calling the result a fluke, he's made it clear that he is not done. With unfinished business and a score to settle, the former champ is demanding the rematch he believes that he is owed. Quest appears and said he's going to have to wait in line, as he's already got a match scheduled against a certain Connecticut Company's wrestler. We'll see that one later on today. It's got a 34 overall, which isn't actually too bad for the angles coming out of these people, so we'll take that. We move on. So in a bout with good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd, Lane defeats Turbo Floyd in 9 minutes and 40 seconds by a pinfall. They have good chemistry together. It's a 37 rating. That's not bad. We've also dropped. We've gone from 122 to 108 people. We just can't seem to get that number higher. We move on in a bout that has decent wrestling but not a lot of heat. Cappuccino Jones defeats Myung Jae Lee in 12 minutes 16 seconds with a submission. Lee is still rusty. He's got a 16. I'm hoping a lot of that is the rust. It's a 38 rated match overall. We then have this bout. It's, oh blimey, that's awful. In a bout that has a decent reaction but terrible wrestling, Redfield defeats Boucher in 7 minutes and 41 seconds by a pinfall. Yeah, Redfield's off his game. Redfield was rusty. It's a 13. Yikes. Luckily, our main event is a little bit better than that. In a bout with superb wrestling, decent reaction from the crowd. Quest defeats Owada, who works for NXT at the moment, so hence what I was saying earlier. Quest makes defense number 1 of the Glory Road Championship by defeating Owada in 7 minutes 23 seconds with a pinfall. It's a 55. Owada gets a 29, which isn't too bad for his second show, I think. And we get, oh, it's a 39. That is our worst show in quite a long time. And I'm going to put the blame on Redfield and Boucher, because it is entirely their fault. Okay, we are going to probably have a bit of a moan at those two. Where are you? Redfield, Boucher. You were off your game, so you could have done better, and you just had a poor performance. Wow, he didn't seem too concerned with my speech. Okay, he didn't seem too concerned. Nice. Don't know how I feel like that. Just ignoring me, are you? We've made roughly the same amount of loss that we do previously, so in theory we are on track to get about £500 at the end, or dollars, at the end of the month. Have we moved up with just how terrible this show was? Somehow. We're now up to 10 in the area. We'll take it. We don't deserve it, but we'll take it. With me out of the way, let's go and have a look at our finances, and then we can get on, book that final show of the episode. So I reckoned before I press this button, we were going to get somewhere in the average of about £500-600 in the green, black, positive, whatever you want to call it. And that's even better. £769. Lovely stuff. Sponsorship has gone up a smidge more. It's now $18.95, even higher than what they would estimate. Merchandise has gone up even further as well. We're getting more via mail order due to the spillover effect that we're having. So that's all positively tracking in the right direction. All right, welcome back. Before we go and book the show, there is something I just wanted to quickly mention, and that is that I've updated our ticket pricing. Previously, we were on free. Now, we're on very cheap. Not a lot of difference, I say that. We're going to get about $8 per person, where previously we got 0, and $8 for 100 people approximately should bring in about $800. We should in theory still be just about big enough to get the population boosts, and it should get us a lot more money hopefully. Anyway, let's go book. Okay, welcome back to our June show. We're beginning to get a little bit stacked here. We might need to potentially look at increasing the time of our shows. So we are going to start this one off with our women's match. It is Reign Victoria versus Billie Starkz. We then follow it up with Tommy Billington, Seth Logan and Austin Connolly in a battle of nobody cares. We then have Calvin Tankman versus My Young Jay Lee with a post-match scene afterwards. Yeah, that's right. We're starting to use angles. After this one, we have Hide and Seek versus Devon Monroe. Adrian Quest comes out and has a bit of a promo. Fred Yeehee gets his wish and fights Adrian Quest, and then we have another post-match scene. So yeah, 3 angles in that one. So yeah, look at me, eh? I do have a creative idea, so I need to go and book that one in quickly, and then we'll run the show. All right, we start our show off with only 96 people in attendance. Sadly, the wrestling industry and the economy are falling right now, just as we are looking to grow. Not fun. However, what is fun is that match seems to have gone quite well. In a decent match, Billie Starkz defeats Reign Victoria in 10 minutes 5 seconds by pinfall, designed to work the crowd. Did quite well. 125 old Reign Victoria versus Billie Starkz 20. They've got great chemistry, got off to a good start, and we get a 25 rating. We then move on to that Battle of Nobody Cares. In a decent match, Tommy Billington defeats Seth Logan and Austin Connolly in 11 minutes and 42 seconds when Tommy pins Austin. Austin apparently carried the match in terms of performance. Yeah, okay, a 14, a 15, and a 31. These are three guys that just kind of sit on the roster, and for the most part, I'd forgotten about him. Logan is rusty. Apparently, that's going to go away soon. I don't know about that. He might not last much longer. However, it got a 23 rating overall, so yeah, whatever. After that, we then move on to a decent match where Calvin Tankman defeats Myung Jae Lee in 10 minutes and 11 seconds by pinfall. Of the two, much better performer with a 46 compared to Myung's 13. Myung is still rusty, however, we did get a 34 for it, which, yeah, I'll take that one. We then move on to that post-match angle. So, after the bell rings, Tankman refuses to stop, mercilessly beating down Myung Jae Lee. Officials swarm the ring, but Tankman shrugs them off, delivering vicious blows and chair shots. The crowd watches in shock as Lee lies motionless, the ring soaked in chaos and dominated by Tankman's unrelenting brutality. So Tankman is a heel and he's a powerhouse, so we just decided that we're going to try and push that a little bit more. It got a 38 as far as angles go. Yeah, pretty good. We'll take that. Speaking of, we'll take that. In a bout with great wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd, Hide and Seek defeats Devon Monroe in 9 minutes and 52 seconds by pinfall. Hide and Seek is a much better performance with a 49 compared to Devon's 33. Match rate got a 41 though, so I ain't going to sniff at that. That's not very good. And Scott D'Amore, I forget he's involved in angles as well. Adrian Quest starts the show off. You can see where I was supposed to have put this one. By talking about his time in GRW and how in the last 6 months he's beaten Manny Lowe, then again anybody could, Austin Connolly, Calvin Tankman, Solomon Tupu, and Yu Owada. However, Fred Yeehee was right. He hasn't pinned him to win the belt, and he aims to put that right tonight. Apparently, Scott D'Amore could have done better as a road agent, as the angle wasn't put together well. It got a 24. We then move on. In a bout that has superb wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd, Quest defeats Fred in 13:09 by pinfall. The match was designed so the wrestlers could go all out and steal the show. Austin makes defense number 2. We did have a creative finish. It did fail. Fred was off his game. Great. Yay. It got a 44 though. That's fine. As far as our overall ratings at the moment, anything above a 20 is good for the size of our company. A 44, yeah, we'll take it. We then move on to our post-match scene. Breathing heavy, Quest offers his hand in respect. Fred stares at it in silence, expression unreadable. Without a word, he turns his back and walks away, leaving Quest and the crowd hanging in a tense, uneasy silence. And again, I forgot that Scott could do angles, so that possibly caused it to be a little bit more sucky. It got a 33. I'm not going to argue with a 33. We got an overall, apparently, okay, that's interesting. It increased our popularity in one region, and the show benefited from having quite a wide selection of angles. I wouldn't say the ones that we did were a wide selection of angles, but well, they're angles nonetheless. We're going to skip over that. We'll look at this. We earned $384, which isn't bad. If we skip over that, have we moved up another number? We have, which is great because I think we then move up to $11 per show. And there is no media scrub because nobody cares. Cool. All right, let's move on to, basically, we'll look at the finances and then we can wrap up the episode and all be on our merry way. All right, here we go. This is the wrap up then of the episode. We are a little bit further on than I would have liked. I was not paying attention. I've moved on a week. Oops. Yeah. Oh dear. So we had a couple of notices come through. Amira's contract is ending. She had the trial 3-month one. I have gone and renewed that one for another 3 months. Boucher, I don't think we're going to keep him. Let's make that decision right now, shall we? He's had one good match this year, which was basically Fred doing all the work. And then, that's a tough one. Because again, he had Fred there, which has pulled that one up. And Hide and Seek's pulled that one up. He's getting 20 somethings. I think we're gonna leave him now. We're not going to renew that one. And Tommy Billington. So his first couple of months with us were, well, we couldn't use him because he was with AEW or something. He was elsewhere, basically. I can't remember exactly where. How is he getting on with us? I mean, even against AEW opponents, he's not really doing extremely well. He got a 32 with us. He's got a 23 with us. Did he do any last year? No. It looks... I mean, you look at the names of who he's wrestled against here. Jericho, King, Hangman Adam Page. They're doing all the work on this one. So yeah, I think Billington's out the door as well. So let's get rid of that. Let's go and have a quick look at the finances for last month. That is looking pretty jazzy. So 2002 in sponsors, 224, a little bit lower in merchandise, 580 for the workers, so that's down a smidge as well. Show costs are still averaging out 337 roughly, and everything else is pretty much exactly the same. With the increase in the sponsor revenue and that 384 that we got in ticket sales, 1,299 in the green, black, positive. So just to wrap things up, well, we'll do two things. Let's go and have a look at the financial estimates and see what we're going to get. I mean, that wrestling industry needs to improve because we already had better than that. Let's go and have a look on our little extrapolated graph, and then we'll call things there. We'll all go home and have a good time. With our updated details put in for July, even with that economy downturn that we've got at the moment, we are still just about looking okay. Sadly, I don't think these are going to be about right. These are probably going to be about 100 for, unless it improves for the rest of the year. So yeah, we're looking around about, I mean, we'll probably get about 11 grand maybe over the remaining few months of the year, but I don't think we're going to get to that 100. And I'm slightly concerned about us getting to 17. But we'll keep pushing towards it. That is a problem for the next episode. What I will say, though, just to finally wrap things up, is we are so close to 500 subscribers. At the time of recording, we're bouncing between 467 and 468. I think that might be just due to the ice hockey people leaving and the wrestling people joining. I don't know. However, I would love to get to 500. So if you haven't already done so, please like, subscribe, leave a comment if you want. It can just say something simple. It can say something stupid. It can tell me I'm an idiot for booking the way that I am booking. I don't care. It would just be lovely to have a bit of interaction with you all. See what you think. See if you want to offer any suggestions, and I will probably ignore them because I'm about 7 episodes ahead. But, you know, it's nice to come back to them down the line. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I'm rambling on now, and I will see you guys next time.